Now, before I start, I need to clarify that this is not a slander page for SHEDEUR Sanders. I wanted to see him succeed, and I do believe that he will succeed. But I do have to tell y'all, just because we root for everybody that's black does not mean that we cannot hold black people accountable and have them acknowledge where they may have made a mistake. Now, from there out, we want you to pick up from your mistakes, learn, move on, and be great. And that's what I'm saying about SHEDEUR Sanders. At this point, we all know SHEDEUR Sanders slid from being a possible top 5 pick to being a 5th rounder. And the people on one side, our people, the fans, the citizens, everybody that's really a non-expert of football, we're all saying, hey, this is collusion. Y'all is just trying to teach him a lesson. Y'all are trying to buck break SHEDEUR Sanders. Y'all are punishing him because of his daddy, which could all be a fair assessment, but I don't think that that's the whole assessment. But I do particularly think that part of that is true. But then there's a side where fans of SHEDEUR Sanders don't want to accept. And I like to look at myself as a fair person. So the more I look into this, the more I realize that there were some mistakes that SHEDEUR Sanders made. And I already spoke about this in the previous video, but more and more people involved in sports are actually speaking out, and they might, or they may, be people that you did or didn't expect to say this. One of them being Cris Carter, NFL Hall of Famer, one of the best wide receivers ever. He gave his take on SHEDEUR. Let's take a look.
All right, so what happened with SHEDEUR Sanders?
Well, a number of things happened. The number one thing that didn't happen was there was not a collusion message with the NFL owners.
Okay, what? Okay, a lot of people think that.
Because they wouldn't be able to keep a secret like that. And
so they might do it, but they couldn't shut up about it.
They wouldn't be able to shut up about it. But every owner is very, very selfish. Now, why would I do something to my detriment? Like if I need a quarterback and I think this kid is it, what he didn't realize is the guys that have fallen in the draft before, they all had unusual traits. Like they had some superstar qualities to them. Now, some other things happened that made them fall, but SHEDEUR and his family, they overplayed their hand. Them thinking that he was in the same evaluation mode as Eli Manning, they didn't play that right. Them trying to narrow the teams that he was going to go to, that didn't do right. Not working out the combine, that wasn't the right thing. His interview process, obviously he could have done a lot better in that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people left that meeting, felt he was very, very entitled.
Which meeting? Like, because they said Brian DeBall, the Giants coach, had said he didn't like the meeting. He asked him, he had some book, was his playbook or something he was supposed to know, and he said he felt weird about it. I don't know who else said they didn't like the meeting with him. Or were just people behind the scenes saying they did?
Well, the thing about it, they didn't draft him.
I know that.
So it's not the tape. And he likes guys to be a little more open before he lets it go. And he doesn't have a big-time arm. He's not a big guy. He's not overly athletic. Mm-hmm. So his measurables are not, say, first-round measurables. But he played football like a first-rounder.
But his tape's first-round tape. But his measurables are not first-round measurables.
Well, you don't play football all the time. You're a human being the rest of the time. And how you're going to be in the locker room, how he already came up with this line of merchandise, legendary, like he's already calling himself legendary. All those things are problems. Right now, he's working check to check, man. Like he's not going to get a big signing bonus. There's not going to be a big guarantee. Any day they want to get rid of him in the week, they can get rid of him.
Don't we think SHEDEUR is smart enough to know he's not at Jackson State and he's not at Colorado?
No.
You don't think so?
I listened to too many of his answers. I saw too many of the outtakes. I saw too many times he was working out with other players, and he said things that I thought were highly questionable for my franchise quarterback.
So like what?
When he was working out with Cam Ward, him and Cam Ward, the number one pick.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you want to cut a rap video together? No, I want to be known as a football player.
And he's like, what do you do for fun? He's like, I play football.
Why wouldn't you sit down with people? And something these kids never understand, even if you're a top 10 pick, You're in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah.
So your interview, your tape, people in the room that see you, someone can like you in the room. They might not draft you 5-10 years later, man.
You're looking for a guy, you're looking to trade, and they remember your interview.
Yes.
The interview you had.
It's a small world. This whole thing with Dion and the media and everything, like it's out of control. Like it did not help him. It helped him make money in college because he got followers, but it actually hurt him as far as him getting a job as an NFL quarterback.
You mean as SHEDEUR, his social media stuff with SHEDEUR?
Yes.
It hurt him.
Yeah. What else hurt him?
I know you've
Let me tell you what he understands today.
Okay.
He ain't running shit. Okay?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what. They taught him a great lesson.
Okay.
Like, you don't have this figured out. Your dad don't have this figured out.
Who's they? NFL,
SHEDEUR,
the world. No, who taught you? Said they taught him. I'm just curious. Like,
well, the system.
The system. Okay,
There's a system out there, man.
Okay.
Like you're going for a job interview. So for his job interview, he was so concerned about what his outfit was. His necklace was over $100,000. Like he hadn't even convinced people that you're the face of our franchise. Matter of fact, he had convinced people that they were better off going in a different direction, even with people who had lesser talent. That's the rub he put on the people.
if that's the case, that's a bad interview, bro.
No, it is the case. He didn't get drafted right. It's no speculation. Like, we're through the draft. We're through 3 days. He threw away at least $30 to $50 million. At least.
Okay. I seen people Googling his wife, and it was like, oh, he loves white women. He's one of those type of brothers. He juck and jive for the man. So, you know what? I'm going to bring y'all the opposite side of the spectrum, who happens to have one of the same opinions. And that'll be none other than Jemele Hill. You know, one of the people who really pushed the Colin Kaepernick movement. Yeah, she keeps some braids and some weave in her hair like Moesha. It don't get blacker than Jemele. So I'm interested to see what y'all would have to say to her if y'all don't understand what she's saying and what Chris Carter is saying at this point. Let's take a look.
Jemele, Stephen A. said a lot about Sanders, but he also tweeted out, quote, "This is Kaepernick all over again." What's your reaction?
My answer is no. That's my reaction. And I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth. The number one skeptic of the NFL. I'm somebody who many times in the Atlantic and in shows like this have talked about how this league has a lot of racist underpinnings. They, as you mentioned, they have a terrible track record. So I'm the last person to throw down the cape over the puddle for the NFL. But in this case, it wasn't about race. I think it had everything to do with the fact that they did not value SHEDEUR Sanders as a talent, as that kind of surefire, he's a lock as a first round or top 5 kind of guy. And again, in that draft process, that's an evaluation of who you are, your character, your football character, all those things. So if it's true, the reports that he was purposely tanking some interviews because he didn't want to go to those teams, showing up and doing other things with other teams, those kind of messages get out across the league and they're going to reflect poorly on him. And so you can't, if they already think you're kind of a borderline talent and then you add the extra stuff to it, it is going to greatly influence your draft stock. And no, we can't compare it to Colin Kaepernick. This is a man who lost his career when he already had been to a Super Bowl and done a lot as a quarterback. And then he had his career taken from him because of he made the mistake of actually standing up for black people.
SHEDEUR, prove him wrong, I guess.
And you see, I'm not here to regurgitate everything that they said, so I'll keep this short and cute. But what I will say is that I think Dion made a mistake as a leader by having his son try to follow in his footsteps the way that he went about the draft. When Deion Sanders is the #1 cornerback ever to live, he was a generational talent. And when you're a generational player, you have the leverage to kind of do what you want when you pop it. Also don't think this is a race thing. I mean, Cam Ward went #1. I think this was a character thing. And yes, I do think it was a biased thing that they had against him because of his father. I think his father didn't do any favors. I think that SHEDEUR Sanders was talking as if he was the consensus #1. Allegedly, they're saying that he sandbagged interviews on purpose, trying to dictate where he wanted to go. But that's a no-no because you're not John Elway. At least that's how they're not valuing you. They're not valuing you as John Elway or as Eli Manning. People are saying, well, he had the most receivers drafted into the league this year. That can go two ways. Some people gonna say, yeah, he just made people that much better. Some are gonna say, no, they made him look better. They're gonna look at the evaluation. You see, Cam Ward told him, bro, all you throw is bubble screens and short passes. You don't throw downfield. They made you look better. He said, if I played the way that you played, if I had what you had, I have a 90% completion. A lot of the time, people said he held on to the ball too long because he didn't want to lower that completion percentage. It's a lot of things and a lot of variables that went down. He didn't go to the combine and throw. He didn't go to, what was that, the Big 12 or Big 10, whatever conference they was in. He didn't throw there. He didn't participate in that, but he passed out flyers. Like Chris Carter said, he was already milking his brand. When he got that prank call and he thought that that was the Saints owner calling him, he was legendary, legendary, legendary. Listen, I'm going to tell you this, and this is for everybody. This ain't just for SHEDEUR Sanders. If you're going to be a nigga, and we really appreciate authenticity, but if you going to be a nigga after you get the job. I ain't never went into no job interview actually being me. I ain't never went into no interview talking in Ebonics, talking in slang. Unfortunately, that's just the way the world works. Y'all can talk about how y'all don't respect that, whatever. I ain't never went into no interview with my dad sitting next to me. I'm not saying that that's what he did, but that's presumed what it was. His dad said, we gonna pull an Eli Manning. So his dad has already said, I'm gonna be heavily involved in the draft process. And you can do that, but you could do that in the dark. Then you the agent. So now they can't talk to an agent, they gotta talk to your dad. Do you see all the mistakes, all the steps that went wrong in this process? I hate that you feel like, you know what, like I can't be me, this, that, and the third. And I understand where people coming from, but sometimes you got to play the game how it go until you get the leverage to play it how you want to play it. And in return, you missed out on $30 to $50 million because you wanted to come in and tell people how it was supposed to go from your perspective from the jump. I'm rooting for you, SHEDEUR. I think that you got talent. I think that you will be who you are. I think that you're a dog. But now you fighting against the odds. That's just what it is, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. And we out, baby. Boo! IG-TheLaFlareLounge.
It's him.